you rather leave insurance to your family or photo albums? Sometimes you go to the office, lovely pictures of the family are there. Always praise. Always give ego food. Don't say, this one your husband, I know him. Or this one your wife, I know her. Praise them, praise them. When you're talking, you said, well, Mr. Prospect, at the end of the day, what do you like to leave to your family? Whole life insurance policy or the photo album? Now, some of you may be thinking it's rude. It's not. But if you feel it's rude, don't use it. Many more ideas. You don't want to talk about income protection. Very sensitive. Then you can talk to him about what's your risk transfer plan. When you use this sentence, you got to elaborate a little further. What's your risk transfer plan? You know, what are you paying for? What are the bills you're paying for? Who is dependent on you? There's so many risks that you're facing. Now, who is going to take this risk? Who is going to replace this risk? How are you going to replace this risk? Ways and means to say, okay? You can even go further up and say, Mr. Prospect, guess what? Please sign here and let it happen. Because when I leave this room, I take the risk away with me. You rest assured, you can live in peace, sleep soundly, knowing that this risk has been passed to my insurance company. I've taken it away. Think about it. Now, these are sentences that I used to use from day one. I'm still using it today, and people are still taking it. And let me remind you of these guys. 30 years ago, when I joined this insurance industry, people buy policies because of income protection, because of child education, because of retirement, because of hospitalization. Today, with all the changes that have taken place, with all the IT and weapons of mass distraction, the basic principles remain the same. Still you say, are you Mohan, how to talk like you, how to talk? Okay. Can you remember this? Mr. Prospect, the last paycheck you write to your family, how much will that be? Sorry, I'm sharing this because I know you got 114 days. You need every weapon, every tool to speak properly, to educate a prospect properly. But these are things that will actually affect the emotion. Check the tone of your voice, check how you're dressed, be presentable, be professional. 5 years after your unexpected death, would your family be talking about financial problems you created when you died, or the financial legacy that you gave them as final gift of love? What kind of biodata are you going to leave behind for them? Think about it. Child education policies. How many of you have children? Legal or illegal, doesn't matter. Good. How many of you are worried about their education? 100 hands went up. Now only 50 are worried. 50 don't bother. Because they came accidentally, is it? Okay, now man, quick one. So what do you do for children's education? What kind of questions do you ask? Alright, how many of you have dreams and hope to send your children for some good education overseas? And our prospects have the same view. Our prospects have the same view. They want to make sure that they give the children the best, and so that they can have a life in the future. And if I can afford it, I want to send my children to the best universities later part of their education life. Having said that, don't worry guys. You have to ask them next. Do you know what is the cost of education overseas? Don't have to pick many countries. Normally when you talk to people, they normally speak 3. Most of them will pick Australia, United States, and UK. Now, I just picked this up from some of the universities, basic one, where most people go to, and this is what I got, the latest. Bear in mind, ours is ringgit. This is US dollars. I've just worked out for you. Cost of foreign education per year in US dollars. Look at Australia, $32,920 US dollars per year. Normally, worst case scenario, the child goes, tuning program go for how many years? 2 maybe. Mr. Prospect, multiply by 2 and say, this is what you need to have. Bare minimum. Look at if it sends to UK. Sends to UK is 53,560 USD per year. Multiply by 3. Multiply what now? 4, 5? 6? 6? Okay, 6 is about 300,000 per year. $1 million. Make sure your son gets the degree if he gets the degree. But normally there's a brilliant children they normally get. Now you take Mr. Prospect, what is the current arrangement you have to make sure you're prepared for that eventuality, because it's going to happen. The kind of conversation I'm having with you, Mr. Prospect, I know you'll have brilliant children. And I know they will do well. On our part as parents, we've got to be prepared. This is what the outlook is today. Where do you suggest that you go from here? Let me show you some of the programs that our company might have, but before that, let's work out a proper plan. a proper accounting, a proper figure. Exactly how much do you need apart from this? Hit the emotions and you get the results. Now, this, I talked a little bit of retirement. Now, in my retirement planning, I will pick on person. Let's say I'm seeing somebody who is about 45 years of age, assuming. Now, I'll tell them this. Now, Mr. Prospect, at what age do you start working? Assuming that they start working at the age of 25, and now the age is 45. They worked 20 years. And I ask a simple question like this. It worked. And I tell them, Mr. Prospect, if you're collecting 12 checks a year, over 20 years, you have already collected 240 checks. How many of these checks are still with you? And you keep your big mouth shut. Let them answer. You look at you look at him. Look him in the eyes. How many? There you go like Mohan, not many or nothing. Because I spent, I bought a house, my children's education, blah, blah, blah. He's not wrong, he's right. You say, okay, understandable, because we are all, we face the same, situation in our lives sometime or other. Now, Mr. Prospect, when do you intend to retire? Normally, the guys will say, maybe 60. Until you guys say 60, never mind, the shorter you say, the better. When you say 60, I say you have 15 more years left. And 15 more years with 12 checks, you have another 180 checks. Mr. Prospect, out of the 240 checks, you save nothing. What makes you think that out of the 180 checks, you'll be able to save some? I suggest that we do something, and I can work out something with you, with my company and you, that we contribute for your retirement plan here too. We can do a lot. Let me show you how the scenario is going to be like. Always use the implied consent. Don't wait for him to say, okay, nah, you work for me now. You do something for me. Our prospects are never going to do that. They're never going to tell us that. We use implied consent and we show them how it's going to work for them. You might find an answer there. Some of them, they tell me this. I've got enough for retirement, Manmohan. When you retire, there is nothing much to spend. Easy life. I say, wow, that's good. You're going to take care of your medical. Better have a policy. He said, should be okay. Then I say, wow, that's interesting. Well, Mr. Prospect, let me just ask you something. And normally people have these calendars on their table. But I always carry one. I'm going to do this role play with you here too. Now let me ask you, ladies and gentlemen. There's one day in a week, that is red in color. What day is that? Sunday. Now let me ask you a question. In the whole week, when I asked him, tell me Sunday, and I asked him, why is Sunday colored red? Yes. They say the same, public holiday, time for you not to work, time for you to relax. Then my question number 2, which day in a week do you spend the most money? Sunday. And I tell him, Mr. Prospect, retirement is all about Sundays. See, the client goes like, oops, yeah. So the red letter that is put there on a week is not to tell you it's an off day. It's to warn you, it's a spending day. Be careful. Today you're going to spend the most money. Now, some might not agree, most agreed, but never mind, we try. What's wrong with that, okay? Quote in premiums. Now, always do not quote premiums in, you're going to buy 1 million, it's about $20,000, about $30,000. The guy go like, wow, so much money. Always quote in percentage. Mr. Prospect, all you got to do is 2 to 3%. You set aside 2 to 3%, we solve this problem for you. And 2 to 3% of 1 million is about $20,000 to $30,000. And you break that into monthly, it's about $1,000 for $1 million cover. It goes like, okay, this sounds doable. If you quote 30, 40,000 or 50,000, they will be like, insurance premium that much. Try this idea. Quote in premiums. After saying all that, sometimes the clients tell you, think about it. Maybe not now. This is the other one. FFF formula. When people tell me, Mohan, I got to wait and all this thing, I tell them, Mr. Prospect, I know, use this formula. I know how you feel. My prospects felt the same way until after the appointment, they found out there was a better way to do it. Feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. My clients felt the same way until the meeting with me, they found out that there's various ways to do it. Feel, felt, found. Try this, all right? You got to make sure that you will really pay the price. 10 phone calls. Ideas given to you. Don't delay. You're going to start your MDRT qualification now. Your road to MDRT is going to start now. Today. If you can sell to somebody here, sell. We got people from Sri Lanka and Singapore, sell. We got fellow Malaysians, sell. Right? Doesn't mean A cannot buy from B company. I'm emphasizing on sell, sell, sell. But you know what? You make sure that you get hurt. You must get hurt.